If you are not new to this channel, then you know that I have been talking about the biggest revolution in history happening around finance, but it's not just finance, right? It's everything around us. Now, this isn't something new, right? Technology has evolved and advanced many times over in, history. We know that there has always been revolutionary times when a new technology that is so advanced, hits the market and we start to integrate and utilize it, and it changes everything around us. And blockchain and DLT is that next big thing. In fact, it has been here for a while now. And when we mix blockchain and DLT with AI and automated systems, and then you also throw in tokenization and all of these big innovations around this space as well, it's very clear that everything around us will be affected by this tech. Now, we already know that Ripple and Stellar are at the forefront of this. But how significant really is it? Well, in this video, I'm actually going to be addressing this, talking about how these two are really changing everything. I mean, everything will change because of this. So welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. So when I mention the name Ripple and or even XRP, what do you guys think of, right? Do we just think about the price chart? Do we just think about the price action of XRP? Or do we just think about, Ripple with the big banks? Like, what do we really think about? In my opinion, the number one thing that really hits my mind is cross-border payments, because for the longest time, the biggest thing about Ripple and even XRP was addressing the plagued issues, right, around the cross-border payments market. I mean, the issues within finance itself in the traditional world it's insane. Why should a payment in 2025 that's across borders take 3 to 5, if not more days to settle? It's ridiculous. And when we think about this, payout market and this network, guys, they have over 55 plus currencies tapped in, 90 markets as well. And again, if we think about what Ripple is doing here with cross-border payments, we know that the XRP ledger and XRP are tapped in heavily here. And we also know that their new stablecoin, which is a direct tie right back to the XRP ledger as well, along with Ethereum, of course, is also tapped in. But it's not just payments, right? We also think about the big, giants behind Ripple. These are the big banks, right? For the longest time, we've been hearing about 300 plus banks tied to Ripple. Now I think it's up to like 500. And this isn't even including the custody side, which also has so many big banks tied to that as well, along with the central banks that they're in discussions with. But then what about Stellar, right? Like, what do we think about when you hear the words Stellar and XLM? Again, is it just the price chart of XLM, or is it, what Stellar is doing with the network? For me, when I think of Stellar, when I think of XLM, I immediately think of P2P. I think of the retail sector in a big way, because Stellar is even still marketing themselves for, the real world, for people that want to send money back and forth. Now, initially, Ripple was fully focused on that, but then they pivoted to big banks back in like the middle of, 2015, roughly 2016. I mean, they've always been focused on the big banks, but they've always been like a B2B, sort of player, in my opinion, even when they were still focused on banking the unbanked. But Stellar is the real deal in this situation, because, Stellar has been absolutely killing the payment space around the P2P market. For an example, here we have the cross-border payments breakdown. We could see the possibilities around this. Again, this is all mainly for the retail sector. Even a lot of the players that are tapped in with Stellar, a lot of these names are actually just utilizing Stellar for remittances, for P2Ps. Now, is there enterprises and institutions using Stellar today and working with Stellar? 100%. It's not just mainly focused on P2P, the same exact way that, Ripple is not just only focused on the banks. But when we think about Stellar, it's interesting because, they are already tapped in on so many different networks and players out there that their on and off ramp services are so significant. Like when we think about how many integrations they have over 464 integrations alone. And a lot of these are on and off ramp services. 36 of them to be specific. Now, you might say, all right, well, that's only 36. Yeah, it's 36 that are tapped in. But when we think about like a name like ACH, right, which, is a name that is tapped in with Stellar, but it's not actually included here. ACH or Alchemy Pay has on and off ramp services to like thousands of players around the world. So that's why I always say like it's a domino effect. But these are just some of the ecosystem projects that are utilizing Stellar. You also have case studies that show us and highlight the possibilities with this tech. And again, a lot of these, in fact, every single one of them is focused on what? The P2P retail space. For an example, you have the United Nations Refugee Agency, right? That's a big one. Fully focused on aid assistance for retail. MoneyGram International case study, again, focused on retail. Then Wisdom Tree case study. Now, you might say, all right, well, Wisdom Tree is a big player, right? It's an institutional player. This is for their application, their Prime app, which is directly tied back to the retail sector. Almost everything that we see around Stellar is for retail. For an example, right? We look at all of these use cases on Stellar here under this case studies section. And all of these case studies, it's all based around the retail sector, which is always why I've said, Ripple and Stellar could both work together. They're not like neck and neck. They don't hate each other. We could see these two working together in unison. Now, again, these two are changing finance. We see that through every single major innovation that they have been pushing. And when we think about that, right, like who's actually telling us what blockchain is doing? Well, back in January of 2024, the World Economic Forum put out a post, and it was actually under the forum institutional side, which was blockchain is in from the cold and stablecoins are set to change the financial system forever. Now, if stablecoins are set to change the financial system forever, what does that mean for the underlying networks that they are launched on? Because we know what stablecoins are. I mean, at the end of the day, I wish that we would just call stablecoins what they actually are, which is just tokenized fiat currency. This is that one step in the future of what we will see in 5 to 10 years. Meaning, if fiat currencies are getting tokenized now, what do you think the next step is? Everything around us will be on chain. And even right now, Stellar, right, is a big player in the tokenization space. $380 million tied to it. I mean, the stablecoin market cap around Stellar is already 200 and almost 45 million. This is a big player, and it's all through like Franklin Templeton and even Circle. So when we think about Stellar, I mean, they are ahead of most because even when we go back to the networks list, they're the third largest network by TVL. That's huge. And when we skip over here to Ripple, because again, tokenization is the next big thing, Ripple is also tokenizing massive amounts of money on the XRP ledger. Back in August of 2024, $10 million in tokenized US Treasury bills on the XRP ledger. Back in November, Ripple and Archix debut first tokenized money market fund on the XRP ledger. Then we also saw XRP ledger attracts $1 billion in tokenized equity and debt fund back in October of 2024. And then, of course, we did just see Ondo. So this is one that I think everyone should focus on. Wall Street 2.0, February 6th, Ondo Finance unveils integrated infrastructure suit to bring US financial markets onto the blockchain. Guys, this is with involvement from some of the biggest institutional players out there. By the way, 2 of which are tapped in already with Stellar, Franklin Templeton and also Wisdom Tree. Now, We also have a quote from the CEO of Ondo, which was, "Financial markets are overdue for an upgrade. Today's financial systems are plagued by high fees, limited access, and operational inefficiencies. At Ondo, we are addressing these challenges head on by creating a unified ecosystem that bridges the best of traditional finance with the capabilities of blockchain technology." And yeah, this is happening right now. Ondo is accelerating all of this with all of their integrations that they have, including, of course, with the biggest institutional players out there. This is the beginning of Wall Street 2.0, but it's also the beginning of the greatest financial revolution in history. And when we think about Ondo, remember that just recently, January 28th, they announced that they're bringing OUSG to the XRP ledger with Ripple. This is an institutional grade product backed by tokenized US treasuries, and BlackRock's Build Fund represented a natural fit for a blockchain purpose built for institutional adoption. Now, on top of that, we also saw them announce that Stellar, they were bringing USDY to the Stellar org network, offering yield-bearing RWAs to Stellar's global ecosystem of treasury management, collateralization, and global payment services with over 400,000 global cash on and off ramps. Now, we also just saw a very big update, which I said very interesting. Why? Ondo announced a stablecoin launch on the XRP ledger partnered with Ripple. Then Ondo announced the stablecoin launch on Stellar shortly after. Back in November, Societe Generale also announced plans to launch a euro-backed stablecoin on the XRP ledger. Now we see the same with Stellar. It's very clear that XRP and XLM are both being adopted for the multi-chain future in a big way. And yeah, here we have the announcement from Stellar. A fully compliant euro stablecoin powered by Stellar, the Societe Generale Forge euro stablecoin has arrived. And remember, going back to November, the same exact stablecoin will be rolled out on the XRP ledger starting this year. You can't make this up. Even when we think about the Archix integration, right? Remember that Archix is also tapped in with all of these big players in the space. It's not just Stellar and Ripple. No, it's all of these big utility giants are now being tapped in a big way. I want you guys to understand that the innovation, the revolution of finance itself, it's already underway. It's already happening. Too many people are blinded by price action to actually see this. When we think about Ondo, guys, Ondo is the accelerator for this. I mean, think about the partnerships that Ondo actually has. Like, let's actually open up real quick their website. Okay, and let's just scroll down. Look at these names scrolling through. BlackRock, Goldman Sachs, Wellington Management, Franklin Templeton. Guys, these are some of the largest institutional players in the world of finance, and they're partnered up with Ondo to tap in to this new blockchain infrastructure, creating Wall Street 2.0. And yes, Ripple and Stellar are at the forefront of it. It's not about, oh, XLM and XRP, we got to choose which one is better than, each other. No, these two can work perfectly fine together. When we think about the future of this space, it's not going to be about, oh, which one is better than, this one, or, oh, which one is better than that one, or which one is this killer and which one is that killer. No, all of that is nonsense. In fact, it's low IQ discussions. We are witnessing the multi-chain financial future being created here. And one thing is certain, Ripple and Stellar are at the forefront of this, because on every single announcement that we have, witnessed from these big players in the space that are building this, guess what? Ripple and Stellar are tied to it. Even all the PDF documents from, the World Economic Forum, from the IMF, from the World Bank, from the BIS, Ripple and Stellar are on a lot of them. So when we think about that, XLM and XRP are going to be absolutely massive. When this full-on revolution hits mainstream and it starts to scale rapidly, these two are going to be two of the biggest winners in the space. So with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely will like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.